First question I get asked is, can I make any money? How much money am I going to make on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or an annual basis? Let's break it down. Um, First off, at Hotshot 107, we train our dispatchers to understand a few things, that I hope you as drivers appreciate, and things that maybe, you being new to the industry, if you're coming in brand new, there's things that you need to understand too. You're going to hear all kind of stories out there being kicked around about, making this much a mile, this much a mile. Please understand, the way we train our dispatchers, because I've owned trucks. I've owned them for a long time. I've operated trucks. I've drove trucks. My partner Marty is a truck driver, business owner. Has owned his own fleet of trucks. We understand that you can make $5 a mile. If you want to talk about, hey, geez, my dispatcher's booking me $5 a mile. I'm only working 2 days a week. I'm only driving 150 miles a week, but hey, I'm getting $5 a mile. It's easy to make numbers sound, to manipulate the numbers and make it sound like anything. We get guys all the time coming to us from other dispatch companies that promise these $3 and $4 a mile routes, and it's once a month for 50 miles. Rate per mile is one very, very important metric that we do study. Everybody needs to understand that rate per mile is a very important indicator of the profitability of the load, but it's not the only indicator. We need to talk about, are we hauling some high cube item that's going to put a tremendous amount of drag on the truck? Are we hauling something, that's so low profile it doesn't bring any wind resistance? Are we going over the mountains? Or are we going down the plains? What kind of mileage is a truck going to get? How are we going to sit in traffic for hours and hours at a time? Are we going to go through high toll corridors that's going to eat all your profit up in tolls? On the pickup and delivery, are you going to sit for hours at a union shop waiting to be loaded and be stuck somewhere for hours at a time? The absolute most important metric that you need to think about is, how many gross dollars per week am I going to make? Because believe me when I tell you, if I make you $5 a mile on 100 miles, okay, $500. Can you pay for your mortgage? Can you pay for your kids' schooling? Can you pay for your truck payment and your insurance and have your wife go get her hair colored and get a perm? I don't think so. The bottom line is, you need to put some gross dollars in the bank that you can count on a week in, week out basis. And the raw gross dollars, the dollars, is what pays the bills. So we talk about rate per mile. That's a very important metric, but it's not the only thing. And it's not something that we need to get so overly concerned with, because again, if we're running through the plains, we're not running over the mountains, we're pulling something that maybe has a little bit less wind drag, the truck gets a little better fuel economy, you're not sitting in traffic, those things matter. We need to make sure you gross what you need to make on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, to pay your bills and make a living. Here's what we expect for trucks to make. It's not a perfect science. It's like, with hotshot trucking, different than 18-wheelers, it's almost like we're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube every single day we put a route together. So we have talented dispatch managers that understand the business, understand the lanes. We know where to send trucks and where not to send trucks. We know where the hot lanes are. We know what's paying. We can help you manage to the expectation that you have on what the truck needs to make. So here's how it breaks down. If you're running 26,000 pounds or less, you've got a 25 plus 5 flatbed. Maybe you got a 30-foot flatbed. Some guys got a triple axle 35-foot flatbed, pulling it with a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton truck. Or maybe you got a 2-car or 3-car hauler, triple axle trailer. You're pulling it with a 1-ton truck. Okay, you're running under 26,000 pounds. Whether you have a CDL or don't have a CDL, you're running under 26,000 pounds. The GVWR is set this way. You register the truck this way. Then you don't have to do IFTA. You do not have to do apportion tags. You save a lot of regulatory compliance issues. You save on some back-end taxes. You save on some front-end fees with the apportion plates. Okay? We can help you figure out what the best model is for you, but those type of trucks, 3-car haulers or 30-foot flatbeds, you're going to make about $4,000 a week gross with us. You go out somewhere else, we take clients in every single day that comes from other dispatch services. They get these crazy pie in the sky, $10 a mile oil field loads, and you get one every 6 or 8 weeks and you starve to death. You can't make enough money to make a living. We're going to be consistent day in, day out. We're going to keep that truck busy. We're going to keep you on the road. We're going to keep you busy. 26,000 pound registered truck with us, about $4,000, maybe a little better, 4,500. We can keep you in the low to mid fours on a very consistent basis. Good week, which happens pretty regular. Good week will be over 5, but certainly our expectation is to get you $4,000 a week. Maybe you made 3,500 this week. Maybe next week it's 45 or maybe 5,000. But when we look at the average, we're expecting you to be making about 4,000 a week with that type of equipment. What about heavier hot shots? And now we got a 40-foot dual tandem. It's registered for 36, maybe 40,000. Few guys out there at 44,000. The payload just jumped from 8, 9, 10,000 pounds. Now the payload's 15, 18, 20,000 pound payload. Now we're hauling a lot heavier loads. We can double dip and put more loads on the truck. Now, and if you're a car hauler, because we book, pretty equally between, car haulers and flatbed freight. So that we focus on hot shot business, car haulers and flatbeds, obviously. If you're now pulling a 4-car, maybe a 5-car, we got some 5-car haulers out there. We got some 4-car haulers out there. Now, what are we expecting with a higher registration, a higher capacity? Some guys are pulling with a 4,500. We got a couple 5,500s out there. Some guys are pulling a portion plates with a 3,500, pulling a 40-footer. I mean, that's a pretty standard model. We expect you to be in the $5,500 to $6,000, $5,500, $6,000 range, on a week-to-week basis. We got some heavy hitters out there that's, spending 3 weeks on the road, that's willing to go out there and really run the truck hard in an OTR fashion. $6,500, $7,000 a week. It's not going to happen every week. It does, we have to work the lanes, but can we deliver consistent results to put you in that $5,500, $6,000 range week after week after week? Keep the truck busy, no downtime, no off time unless you want it or ask for it. And the answer is yes. We have the lanes. We have the freight. Our dispatch managers understand the business, and we will put you on the freight. We will put you in the right lanes. What limits your income? And this is important for you to understand this. What limits your income is how many what I call limiting factors you put on the business. Okay? We have a guy that wants to be home every night. We have a guy who wants to be home every weekend. We have another guy who wants to go out 3 weeks at a time and take 3, 4, 5 days off. It's not the same business model. So, you can't expect a truck to make the exact same money if you're home every night versus out for a week versus out for 3 weeks. We can build better lanes, get you better freight. The longer you're willing to be out, the further you're willing to travel out and so forth. Some guys are territorial. Okay, I don't want to go north of, whatever it is, the Mason-Dixon line. I don't want to go north of Ohio, whatever. Okay, that's another limiting factor. I'm not saying that we can't book great loads across the South. The point is, you're limiting the loads that are available on any particular day when you draw a geographic line. Will we work with you? Absolutely. We'll put a plan together based on your needs, your desires, your plan, but you are the one who potentially limits your income. So the types of things that we look at that could be, and not always detrimental, but could be limiting factors to your business. Length of your trailer, 40-foot flatbed's better than a 30. 30's better than a 20. 3-car hauler's better than a 2-car. 4-car hauler's better than a 3. What about weight capacity? Absolutely. You can haul 20,000 pounds of cargo versus somebody else pulling 10. What about tarps versus no tarps? That's a limiting factor. You don't have a tarp and you run in a flatbed, you lose out on some pretty good loads because you couldn't get the load. We couldn't book it for you. Other limiting factors is how long you stay out. Do you have a CDL? What's the registration weight of your truck? We can help you when you talk with our dispatch managers, when you talk to our senior team, when you start coming on board. You'll be working with myself, and you'll be working with some of my senior team members. My partner Marty, is very knowledgeable. We can help guide you into all those decisions. Those are decisions that you make, and not everybody needs to make the same decisions. I mean, that's for sure. Everybody's got their own business idea, their own business model, their own things that they're comfortable with. But if you come on board with us, we'll consistently keep you busy. We're not going to give you some crazy pie in the sky numbers and talk rate per mile, rate per mile, rate per mile. We're going to use rate per mile as an index. We're going to look at rate per mile. We're going to study the total routes. We're going to look at all the other factors, city traffic, tolls, downtime, where you're loading, where you're unloading. We're going to look at the whole route and help you understand what is the implications on your gross dollars. What are you going to get paid at the end of the week? What money do you have left over after running the route to pay for your bills? And after you take out $7, $8, maybe $1,000, $700, $800, maybe $1,000 in fuel, you pay for $300, $400 that you set aside every week for maintenance. What are you going to have left at the end of the day to put in your pocket? And with our company, I guarantee you, we got a plan that's going to put money in your pocket. We're going to keep you busy. None of this crazy pie in the sky stuff that's not realistic. We'll tell you what you're going to make. And we know the lanes to put you on, and we're going to keep you busy. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to talk to you, one-on-one, because I want anybody coming on board with us to understand we don't make you sign any kind of long-term contracts. There's no kind of exclusive long-term deal with us. We earn your business every time we work for you, every single day. We want to plan your routes, and we can do a much better job for you if we're not trying to give you a sporadic service. If we can give you a full-time route service, plan your routes, work with you to plan your routes, we can provide the absolute best service. But, when we understand the lanes, we understand your truck, we understand your customers and so forth. Bottom line, you work with us, you give us the ability to work with you. We can explain it to you. We can help you figure out what you got to do, what you need to make, and we'll go out and build a route. And if you got questions, I'm happy to answer them one-on-one. And again, we're not locking you into something that you're not happy with. If you ever are unsatisfied with our service, you're free to leave at any time. We earn your business every day. We don't need a contract. If we're doing a great job, why would you leave? If you're not happy with us, why would we want you trapped into a bad situation that's bad for you and us? We want people working with us that are happy, that are satisfied, that are committed to work with us long term. So I hope you, if you have any questions, I hope you talk to me directly. But hope you come on board with us, and we'd love to work with you.